Hey guys, my name is Fraser from Noble Canine, and I'm a canine behaviour specialist. Now, doing this means that I get exposed to a lot of dogs who have got many fears. So when I see all of the posts and complaints about fireworks back home in the UK, it made me think a little bit about how many people need help with regards to this. So I'm going to try and do a fairly short video. It might be longer than I want it to be, but hopefully not, on how we can help this. Now, just as a thing, although it is remember the 5th of November for Guy Fawkes Night, and we're already on the 4th, this is for any fireworks, whether it be New Year, Chinese New Year, or any other festival throughout the world that uses fireworks. And indeed, this also works for thunder. So bear that in mind when we go through this, okay? We're going to be looking at, very briefly, why some dogs are scared and other dogs are not. We're going to be looking at what you can do about this on the very recent run-up to the situations of fireworks and actually on the night or during the time of the fireworks. We're then going to look at what you can do in the long term to help your dog feel more comfortable with the fireworks or the thunder or situations such as this. Okay, so without further ado, let's crack on. First thing we're going to look at is why. Okay, so there's three elements of every animal, but in this particular one, we're going to look at dogs, which creates our behavioral reactions and indeed builds our personalities up as well. So the first aspect is learned behavior. This is your experiences. You can have a dog that's not scared of fireworks at all, and they get a shock from a firework one time. That one time can create a real problem for that dog, and now that dog has a phobia from a learned experience. This can also happen in the opposite. Many small good experiences can actually help the dog feel better about said situations such as a firework. Okay. Second, we have social. Okay. Everybody always thinks about dogs being social with other dogs. We've also got to understand that humans have a large part to play in this. If you as a dog owner are a little bit manic, a little bit nervous, if you're very loud, if you're very aggressive, this all rubs off on the dog. So with regards to fireworks, if you react to the fireworks, there's a higher likelihood that your dog will react to the fireworks as well. The third one is very interesting. A lot of people feel a little bit uneasy when you talk about this, but genetics are a very interesting aspect of behavior. And this indeed works with humans as well as dogs, but we're going to stick to dogs so that we don't go down that rabbit hole. With dogs, we have breeds. This is shaped genetics or selective breeding. Okay, this means that some breeds are more inclined to fear than others. Some breeds are a little bit more robust. If you have a dog who is of a gun dog breed, or a dog who is of any breed who's a little bit more tenacious, a little bit more gritty, they're less likely to be scared of things like fireworks. If you have a dog who is more genetically shaped to be aware of everything and react on everything, they're more likely to get more upset with regards to fireworks. Personally, I've got 3 ex-street and jungle dogs who, yeah, when I first got them, they had a lot of anxiety, and it took quite a while to shape that out of them. But luckily, we have managed using some of the techniques that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so what do we do in the short term? Now, a lot of people think, oh, we need to cancel fireworks, we need to do this, we need to do the next thing. I'm not here to argue those points or not. However, what I will say is, realistically, you're not going to cancel fireworks displays. You're not going to stop the guys from buying it from the illegal shops or the legitimate shops and going out and setting them off in the gardens and the parks. It's unrealistic. So you can moan about it and complain about it as much as you like. The realistic situation is it's going to happen. So first thing is be prepared. Okay, so prep is very, very important. We know there's going to be fireworks. Now, Guy Fawkes and New Year, we know that it's roughly going to start when it gets dark. Realistically, nobody's letting off fireworks during the day. It doesn't look that good. So we know that roughly between about 5 p.m. and 7 p.m., it's going to start. And it might go on till as late as midnight in some cases. Luckily, the big firework displays tend not to, but we have to be aware of this. So what do we do about our dog's walks? Well, the smart move is don't have your dog go out on a walk while there's fireworks blasting all over the place. Walks are already stimulating enough. We don't need extra stimulation which is going to stress your dog out. If you take your dog out for a walk and they're being stimulated by fireworks as well as everything else, when you get them home, it's going to be harder for them to relax. Take the walks early. When you let them out into the garden for a toilet break, they're going to be on leash. The number of stories I have heard about dogs jumping over fences or walls in gardens because they've been scared of thunder and fireworks is actually quite disappointing, because we should know that when we feel fear, we react. Dogs are the exact same way. So when they go out for their pee breaks at the night time, they are on leash. We do not want to increase the stress any more than it already is. Next part, just to be aware of, if your dog is hiding, do not remove them from their hiding spot. They're there because they feel comfortable. You dragging them out isn't making them feel more comfortable. You thinking to yourself, oh, just get over it, stop being silly, isn't going to help them. Okay, leave them be. However, if they come to you, give comfort. There's a weird thing that goes on in people's heads where they think, oh no, if I give comfort, that their dog is going to realize that it's okay to be scared. You can't reinforce an emotion. You can reinforce a behavior, but not an emotion. These dogs are terrified. Therefore, giving them comfort is a good thing. Okay, so we want to be aware of that as well. Children. Do not let your children approach the dog without the dog's consent. If the dog comes to the child, that's different. But don't have kids go to the dog bed or go to the crate or anywhere else where your dog is during these times of high stress. It's not fair on the dog. Okay. Next thing we want to prepare is engagement tools. So what is an engagement tool? Well, engagement tools are things like Kongs, lick mats, bones, even scatter feeding. Okay, all of these things is going to keep your dog busy. This is how you're going to be feeding your dog their dinner, because you want their dinner to last between 6 to 10 p.m. roughly, based on what the fireworks are like in your area. Okay, which means that you're going to be having things like this Kong, stuffing the food inside, and depending on how well your dog does, you're going to chill it or freeze it or stuff it really tight. But at the very beginning, you're going to do this loose. Lots of information online about how to do this properly. You might want to have 2 or 3 of these so you can give them continuously during the time of fireworks. Things like lick mats, some wet food, some peanut butter. Make sure the peanut butter is safe for dogs. On this, it will take the dog a long time to lick this off because of the way that it is designed. I use these things every single day as part of my dogs being fed, and it is massively useful. Okay, the next thing we can take a look at is supplements. A lot of people are a wee bit scared of the word supplements, like, oh no, I don't do drugs. These are nutrients. Supplements are just nutrients. Go and talk to any PT, go to any gym, they'll tell you that supplementation is just nutrients from food without having to eat X amount of cabbage or X amount of kale or whatever else. Dogs have the same thing. We've got this one that I use, Cam Canine. It has been a godsend for a lot of my clients as well as myself. There is other brands out there. effectively the main ingredient you're wanting to look for is L-tryptophan. Okay, there's other ones out there with some melatonin and things like that. The other aspect that you might find very useful, if your country allows it, generally the UK does, is CBD oil for dogs. These are not bad things. In extreme conditions, yes, of course, there's anti-anxiety medications and things like that. But for now, I feel that you should be trying supplementations before you go to that extreme. Okay, so have a think about that one. Okay, this is what we do in the short term. Long term. Okay, in the long term, we have got to understand that this takes time. Now, I'm going to run through this fairly quickly. Realistically, what I will suggest is reach out to a behaviour specialist, reach out to somebody in your area, or if you want, reach out to me online. It doesn't matter. You need somebody to help explain this. I'm not going to manage that in a short video. Even if this video ends up being 15, 20, 30 minutes long, it's not long enough. But effectively what we're going to be doing here is we are going to build confidence as number one. Now, all training builds confidence. So the first thing I always tell people is when you're wanting to build confidence, and I call it the toolbox 10. These are 10 commands, not to be confused with the 10 commandments. The 10 commands are sit, down, stay, come, heel, leave it, go or off. These are basically directional ones. Touch, which is effectively when your dog puts their nose onto the palm of your hand. It's a multi-tool. You can use that for recalls. You can use that for getting them off sofas, getting them away from people. It's very, very useful. Probably one of the most underutilized and useful things that I've noticed in the dog world. We then have calm on cue. Very, very useful. Teaching your dog to just chill out on a cue or on a command. Last, but very much not least, is sending them to bed. This is not getting your dog to go to bed and stay. This is getting your dog to go to bed and relax on your word. These are incredibly important. I won't go into it now because it will take too long, but if you have all of these at a very good standard, you're able to keep your dog safe and keep your dog happy, as well as keeping yourself safe and happy. Other things that build confidence. Scent games. Teaching your dog to find something through smell is incredibly useful for this. We also have hide and seek. This is basically where you tell your dog to stay, you go hide, you recall them, they find you, a little bit of excitement, all great, good to go. You can also do that with multiple people. You can do it with kids, you can do it with everybody. The dog will love this, okay? These are great for building confidence. Then you look at what we call counter conditioning or desensitization. These are very, very similar. I'm not going to argue about the differences between them in this. However, effectively what you're going to do is you're going to ensure that your dog doesn't get as scared with the noise of fireworks. To do this, you use audio of fireworks, starting at a very low volume, having your dog perform some of these simple tasks with that low volume of the trigger noise, which in this case is fireworks, and then very slowly increase the volume. I mean slowly. Your dog needs to be comfortable with this, not just dealing with it, okay? This is a very, very important aspect of this. When you're doing anything like this, I highly recommend that you get professional help. This is the one that's going to make sure that this time next year, your dog is a lot more comfortable, okay? There is other aspects to this that we can use to make things a lot easier for them. On top of the prep, you can use calming music to stifle the sound a little bit. You can use calming smells like aromatherapy stuff. All this does is mean that the smell of the fireworks is not as strong. And of course, if it's a calming scent, it's a calming scent. There's all of this good stuff as well. However, this is the broad strokes. I really hope it helps. Please do not think there is no fireworks, we're not going to bother. And then this time next year, start to freak out again. Put in the work, reach out to somebody, get help. It doesn't matter if it's online or in person or somebody local or somebody further away. Put the effort in, guys, okay? This is important for your dog's health and their sanity, and then, of course, yours as well. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, and I really hope that you have a much calmer fireworks season based on some of these tips. See you next time. Cheers.